Namaste, my name is Lenny. I'm energy healer and spiritual coach, and in this video I will talk about karmic relationships and what you should be aware of if you think that you are in a karmic relationship. So let's dive in. Let's clarify what a karmic relationship is. It could be that in a previous life you met a special person and you had some kind of relation with that person, and now in this life you meet that person again. This is what we call a karmic relationship. So your relationship already started in a previous life. It doesn't always only have to be love relationships or intimate relationships. It could be that, for example, in the previous life you were siblings, or you were kind of related, or you were just friends, and in this relationship it turns out to be a love relationship. This happens quite often actually, because when we meet a karmic friend, we feel a very strong pull to that person and we feel very attracted to that person. So very often we misunderstand it as sexual attraction, but it's actually the karmic pull which pulls us together. So it turns out to be a love relationship in the end, but maybe in your previous life it was not. It doesn't have to be a love relationship in this life either. It can be a very intense friendship as well, or maybe it's one of your siblings or your mother, but mostly it is a love relationship. Now, I was already talking about this pull. This is how you can identify a karmic relationship as well. When you see a person and it's like the sky's opening up, light is shining on that person, and you feel a very strong pull towards that person, you cannot help yourself. You have to go to that person and start talking to that person. Now, there is the same thing with sexual attraction. So it is not always very clear, is it a karmic relationship or is it sexual attraction? This you will find out later in your relationship. But when you think back and you remember, like, wow, this was like nothing ever before. Like, I just had this strong pull, I had to talk to this person, and it was like angels were singing or something. This is sometimes how clients describe it to me. Like, it's just like how we have it in the movies as well, like the spotlight on that person. So this is an indication that it is a karmic relationship. The stronger indication is that no matter what you try, you can just not be without that person. It's like you keep on pulling together again. This is not happening because of deep love. This is happening because you have unresolved issue with that person. So, for example, in the previous life you had a big fight, or maybe even murder was included, or something big happened and there's an unresolved issue. So you agreed, like when you both died, like on a soul level, that you will meet in this life again and solve this issue. So in this life, naturally, you will be pulled together till you solve this issue. Now, let's talk more about when it happens that you come into a love relationship with your karmic brother or sister. This is difficult. It is very difficult. You would imagine, wow, this is such a romantic thing. We already spent a life before this, or many lives before this together, and now we found each other again. But as I said before, most probably you're pulled together by some unresolved issues, not by love. So that means the issues are still there. And this is a very big sign, another big sign of a karmic relationship. You are pulled together, and you can seemingly not be without each other, but when you're together, it's boom, war zone. A lot of drama happening, a lot of hurting, a lot of tears. So it's very, very intense. So I would recommend, if you meet someone and you know, okay, this is a karmic brother or sister and there are issues to solve, try not to come into an intimate relationship with that person. It is hard because the pull is so strong, you just fall into it. But it is harder to solve the issues when you are in the love relationship than just friends. That is my own experience. So you can also go through the love phase first, and then maybe you have a time of separation. But anyways, the pull will bring you together again in some way. So maybe after a few years, a friendship is possible and you can really resolve the issues from the previous life. Now, when you are in a karmic relationship, there is a choice you can make. You can either work your issues out alone or together. Now, working out the issues alone will be easier because the other person will trigger you quite a bit, and it's better to get triggered from afar, and then you can solve your emotions and whatever comes up by yourself, or you do it together, which is a very intense, beautiful and ugly way in the same time, because as I said, you will be triggered so much, so many things will come up. You will be your most beautiful self at times and your most ugly self at times. So for your spiritual growth, this is incredible. You will that's the highway, so to say, but it is very, very intense and very, very painful as well. So you can work it out together. If you, for example, you're already in a marriage, and you know it's a karmic relationship, obviously it's better to try to solve it together, to work for it together, and most probably you're doing this already, otherwise you wouldn't be in the marriage still. But if you still have a choice to make, like, do I want to come into a relationship with that person, think good and hard about it. It will be very intense, beautiful, and ugly. So when you're already in relationship and you want to work it through, you work through it together. For this, you need a lot of openness. You need to let your ego fall down. You have to speak openly about what just happened. For example, there was a big crash. Then afterward, you can talk about it. Talk about what happened inside of you, which emotions came up, what triggered it, what things you might want to change in future. So that's why I'm saying it will help you grow very, very fast. But for that, you need a certain level of openness. If your ego is that high and you're like, okay, we fought, but still I'm on the right side and I don't want to say sorry, no growth will happen. So a certain kind of openness is needed for the growth. So karmic relationships, either you do it alone or you do it together. And be aware that not every intense relationship is a karmic relationship. Sometimes it is really just the physical pull, the sexual pull, you're attracted to that person. Or I very often hear it from clients like, oh, I must know this person from before, from a life before, because we are so good together and I love him so much or I love her so much. It doesn't have to be a karmic relationship. And that doesn't mean that the relationship is worth less. Not at all. It is always what you make out of the relationship. It doesn't matter if you met in a previous life or not. It matters what you do in this life together. Thanks for watching. If you like what I say, please give this video a like and subscribe my channel if you want to see more of me. And I also talk about shamanism, yoga, Ayurveda, and in general spiritual practices and healing. So see you next time.